Hi everybody, it's Marcy, and I'm here trying to get ready for Dear Julie Julie's May Junk Journal Challenge, which is the May Make a Kit, Make a Journal Junk Journal Challenge. So the first thing is we need to make a journal, any size, any theme, must be at least 60 pages or 15 sheets of paper. Bound. If you fold the sheet, then you get 4 pages front and back. So 15 pages would give you your 60 pages. And the journal is to have an embellished cover, 3 or more pages from a paper pad, and 3 or more pages from a Dear Julie Julie kit. So the paper pad and the Dear Julie Julie kit I'm going to come back to. But then we get to gather items to make our kit. So what I'm going to call our free items are a binding kit with thread, needles, 4 clips, and graph paper for a template. Although Julie didn't say it, you're going to have a pokey tool if you're binding your journal. So I've got, 4 clips. For my particular journal, I'm not going to be doing the normal binding, but I will want the 4 clips and possibly my binding thread. So I've got my binding kit in my kit. Copy paper, plain white copy paper. We can use as much as we want. We get 1 ink pad. So I, of course, am taking my vintage photo because I have to distress. Scissors. A paper cutter, and I'm going to use this one because if I need to score something, of course I can use my ruler to score with, but I can also use the little well that's on this trimmer. I used to, but I don't know where it is, have the scoring tool that also would go on this. I don't know where it is. If I can find it, I could use that. If not, I could just use something else to help with that. So that's the cutter I'm going to use. Then we get glue, of course, a ruler, a hole punch, and I'll be using my crocodile for my hole punch. And then we can use our sewing machine and thread, which, of course, I'll be using. Then we get to choose 2 additional tools. And I have chosen this Tim Holtz Flourish stencil, which is my favorite stencil. And I've chosen my tab punch board. And really the only reason I've chosen it is it will allow me to make some tabs if I want to, but it also has a corner rounder on it. And it would drive me crazy to not round my corners. Now, if I were actually packing for a trip, it would take up less room for me just to take my corner rounder. But for these purposes, I'm going to use my tab punch board as a tool. Okay, so then, let me move some of this stuff out of the way. Oops. Then we can choose 14 single embellishment items, die cuts, buttons, beads, tags, bulb pins, etc. So I've got this little box, and inside I've got 2 book rings, because this is how I will actually be binding my journal. And then I've got some buttons, I've got some brads, I've got a few bulb pins, I've got a couple of charms. Some of these may change out as I get into it. I know I'll be using the book rings. The rest of these I just wanted to have a little box with 14 items in it so that I've got them, and I'll switch them out if I choose to. Then we get to choose 14 items as if we're shopping our stash, or as you buy them. So you could buy a package of stickers or a roll of lace, whatever you want to do. And so 14 different things. So first thing is, I chose coffee, and I have a gazillion coffee dyed papers. So coffee is one. We will need fabric for this journal. So I've got this, it's Heidi Swap fabric that I had gotten at Hobby Lobby. So that's the fabric that I'll be using. Okay. And I will be using this book, Gardener's Notebook. I think it's very pretty. I've already started taking some of the signatures apart. So I'm going to use this book. Now, because I'm doing ring bound, I'm trying to keep my list straight, I'm also going to throw in my eyelets. And page reinforcements. Because I'm doing the ring bound, I'm going to want, I don't want all my pages to have eyelets on it because that'll create too much bulk, but I'm going to want some of them to have eyelets, and for the ones that don't have eyelets, I'll be using page reinforcements. Okay. I have chosen, where did it go? A stamp set. This little stamp set has gardening, the wheelbarrow, the spade and the little rake, some grass, lamb, bunnies, watering can, lettuce, onion, carrot. Here we've got a couple of flowers, a flower pot, more flowers, a little plant stake, a little butterfly, and I'm not sure what that is. Maybe a bee? I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, so I'll be using that stamp set. So I've also chosen black archival ink to go with my stamp set, and I got some peeled paint to use with my stencil. I need to go back and look and see what other colors came with the peeled paint, because it would have come in a package of, did they come in 3 or 4? I can't remember right now. But that way I could go ahead and throw those in and use those as well. And I've got my distress brushes. These came in a package. This one I use exclusively for brown, but if I pull out the other inks that go with that, then I can use this one and just clean it off and use it for all the colors. Okay. So I've got those. Got the coffee. Okay. Then I have chosen, this is just a small strip of the lace I've chosen, but it comes layered. So you've got the wide layer, then over it you've got a narrower layer, and then this row of beads. So what I've done is I took a bunch of it. I've got like 15 yards. I mean, it's a ridiculous amount. And I went ahead and separated them out. Except for I've got several shorter pieces like this that I left whole. But mostly when I use this lace, I use it separately. But I figure that will give me some bling and then a couple of different laces. So I'll be using that. And like I said, I've got a ridiculous amount of it. I'd gotten this at an estate sale, and probably one of the best purchases I've ever made, because I've got all of that when it's separated out. Okay. I also have thrown in this trim bundle. I got this at Michael's. It's Celebrate It, and this is the natural, and it has 50 pieces. So I've got all sorts of trims, and they've got different colors or different color. They've got like pastel and stuff like that. But I figured for this journal, the neutral would do well, and this gives me lots of different textures and fibers to play with, so I've thrown that in there. Then another thing I've thrown in is, if I can grab it, file folders. I'd gotten a package of 25 file folders at Walmart, and so I'm going to throw these in. If nothing else, they'll help with bases for stuff that I'm making, is my thought. They could get substituted out, but I'm thinking I may actually use some of those. Where I'm having a little trouble, I've got this box of gel pens that I had gotten from Amazon, and got just about every color and style under the rainbow. And I've got my colored pencils. I'm not sure which one I want to use, so I'm undecided on that. But so I've got them both pulled, and whichever I reach for first will be the one I'm committed to. So let me be trim bundle gel pens. Okay, and that leaves one more item on my list of 14. And right now, what I'm thinking is this pocket punch board. Again, if I were actually packing for a trip, I would take my 1-inch hole punch, if more because it takes up less room. But this has the punch on it. I could not figure out a way that this has a corner rounder on it. If I can figure that out, then I could switch out the tab board. But I'm thinking, because I only had 13 items out of my 14, so I've got this pulled out for right now. We'll see. Then, for my paper pad, I'm going to be using this. It's called Homegrown. It's from Echo Park. And it's got 12 double-sided papers. And then this sticker page. So I'm going to be using that for my paper pad. And for the Dear Julie kit, the primary kit that I will be using is Dear Julie's Fruits and Vegetables kit. And I've started printing some stuff out. To start getting an idea. This is the third time I have filmed this video because I've been going back and forth about how I wanted to do this. This I printed on some parchment paper. And by parchment, I don't mean the stuff you use in your kitchen. This is specialty parchment paper. We got that. Here I printed some on some graph paper. Here I printed on the parchment again. And printed on the parchment again. Here, from Julie's Spring Flowers digital kit, I printed out just the plain background page, but I printed it onto clear sticker paper. And that is what I'm going to use as my washi tape. And I think that'll work perfectly, and I didn't have to waste one of my items on washi tape. So that's what I'm going to use as my washi tape. Then I also, and I've already cut these out, so I apologize, but I cut out a bunch of ephemera from the fruits and vegetables. I cut out some ephemera from, I cut out somewhere there in here, some birds from her birds kit. And then I cut out several ephemera sheets from the Patreon group. So I've gone ahead, like I said, I've gone ahead and cut these out so that it makes it a little easier for me. While I was still deciding for certain what items I wanted to use, I went ahead and started fussy cutting so I'd be ready to go. And I've just got everything here in a little bucket so that I can grab and go when I start embellishing. And like I said, Patreon, so I'll be using, the primary kit I'll be using is the garden and vegetables. Or, I'm sorry, the garden fruits and vegetables kit. But then I've also used some from the birds kit, the spring flowers kit, and the Patreon digitals. So, I think I am finally ready to start working. And some things I've got locked in. Other things, I know the book I'm going to use. I know the paper pad. I know the digitals. Where I'm a little stuck, like I said, is on the gel pens versus the colored pencils. The pocket punch board, and what else was there? Oh, the file folders. But I've got them in there, so I'm ready to start, and we'll see where I go. And then if I end up swapping some things out, then I end up swapping some things out. So that's all I've got for today, guys. I figured it would be easier to make a video to show you what I'm going to be using than to try to just show it and just list it all in a video. So until next time, everyone, please be safe, stay healthy, have a great time crafting, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.